Video.
I photographed nice. Hashem. Derech Hashem, page 605. We're talking about the Shemona Esrei, and it says, based on this introduction, yeah, everybody has it, right? 605. Based upon this introduction that we read last week, the Ramchal explains the format of the Shemona Esrei prayer. He says, corresponding to these three major categories of divine hashpah, the first three brachot, the first three blessings of the prayer service were instituted. And he explains, each of the first three blessings of the Shemona Esrei, the Aidah, corresponds to one of those hashpaot of Hashem. The first one, which concludes Magen Avraham, the shield of Abraham, corresponds to the attribute of kindness, chesed, kindness, represented by Abraham. The second one, which begins, you are mighty, corresponds to the attribute of din or judgment, represented by Yitzchak. And the third one, a third blessing, discussing the sanctity of Hashem, corresponds to the attribute of rachamim, mercy. I said chesed is mercy too. Chesed is, for the people watching throughout the world, chesed is more kindness. Okay. And rachamim, mercy, represented by Yaakov. Good. So then it says, through them, the supernal Shefa, again, this is divine influence, as a whole emanates downwards. He says, the purpose of the Shemona Esrei is to draw the Shefa, this divine influence, from Hashem down after the first three sections of the morning service have laid the groundwork. The Ramchal now states that the general Shefa for the entire creation is drawn down by reciting the first three brachot of Shemona Esrei, which correspond to the major three hashpaot of Hashem. And then what happens? Following this, through the middle brachot, through the middle blessings, it emanates downward to the particulars as needed. Each of the middle brachot represents a request for a specific worldly need. The shefa for each of these specific needs is drawn down by reciting those brachot, those blessings. This corresponds, let me just finish, this corresponds to what the Ramchal has explained above, that the purpose of the prayer is to activate the shefa needed for existence, for unless man requests the shefa from Hashem, Hashem does not provide it. Yeah.
So the three, Shachrit, Mincha, and Arvi, that was from the forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and
the times for that the rabbis learned from the times of davening, the rabbis learned from the Avot. Yes, right. Avraham was the morning, Yitzchak the afternoon, and Yaakov the Ma'ariv. Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, that was the first question. Second question: did Esav or Ishmael do anything for the prayer, or were they just wayward children, or wayward in the sense that they didn't really?
Did they daven? You're asking?
No. Did they do anything? Did we get anything from them except not what
no.
to do?
No.
Surahs.
No, we didn't get any. We didn't get anything from them because no, we didn't get anything from them. Right. So, Esau was good for his parents, and Yishmael wasn't such a bad guy either. He also gave in when it comes to the burial. He let Yitzchak go first, so he was admitting that he wasn't the inheritor of Avram. He also does teshuvah, in which after his mother gets married off to his Egyptian, somehow later on he will return to the father's home and he will be with Avraham, and so much so that Avram takes him with Eliezer and Yitzchak to the Aidah. Notice he's one of the two boys, two Na'arim, that were there. So we say he did Shuvah. And so while Avram was alive, he wasn't such a bad boy. When he dies, it's something else. So it says he fell and so on and so forth. But you can learn from him. He was also very attentive to his father. He also got a circumcision at 13. There's a lot of things you can learn from all of the stories, but we don't see. By the way, again, I want to emphasize this: we don't see anybody's pure evil. There's nobody is pure evil. Say it again?
If we siphoned anything good from them,
again, what you get good from Esav is kibbud av v'ein. Right. He had tremendous kibbud av v'ein from Yishmael. And the Arabs in general, they also have hachnatzer orchim. They welcome the strangers. If you come into their tents, they're good. If you leave their tent, okay, you have a problem. But at least that they're good. I mean, they care about that. That's what you get from Yishmael. And again, Yishmael does some sort of tshuva. He doesn't. We're not going to learn much from him because he's not really the storyline. Remember, in the Torah we look at storylines. So Avram was told that Yitzchak would be your progenitor. Progenitors, or the one the one who would follow you would be his seed. Successor. Thank you. What's progenitor? It comes before, I'm guessing. Okay, so he'll be a successor, not Yishmael, and not these 6 other children from Keturah. Again, this is not midrashic children. These Avram, straight Torah, had 8 boys. Yishmael, Yitzchak, and the 6 others, Midian. I invite you to his chapter 25, I think, something like that, in Bereshis. But he goes through is next week, so it's in Chaysar. No, this next week is next week is Chaysar. So next week you'll see all the sons that he had. So I'm sorry, he had 8 sons altogether, and again, it's not midrashic. That's straight text. So 7 of those sons did not do anything. We don't learn, quote unquote, anything from them. Okay, and the same thing would be for Esav and his clan. We don't see, it's only 2 boys there, so we don't see anything from Esav except for kibbud av v'ein.
Is there any record of the other sons of Abraham, what nations they became?
Yeah, you can look it up. It's Midian, and so on and so forth. Okay. They went to the east, but they made trouble later on. They all made trouble. Nobody left us alone because we were the chosen one. We were the ones that were, going to get everything in their minds, the money, the land. And it was never really about that, but okay, that's what they heard. And they all probably felt ripped off by their parent, Abraham. And that's why everybody goes through. No, you don't hear everybody yell, I'm the son of Keturah. You always hear, I'm the son of Abraham, because you go for the royalty. Abraham was a very rich man. That's why, by the way, as a person from Boston, I can tell you that anybody who was ever connected with Kennedy, they'll always use the name Kennedy. Even though they're like 13 removed. He's a Kennedy, especially when he gets into trouble. Then they say, Kennedy again. But, really, when you get into those things of royalty, of money, so then, everybody wants to be part of that. So, yeah, but we do, again, if you look at, I think it's chapter 25. If you want, after the second, show you where it is, and you can see all the names. The names are throughout the Torah. Okay. But you understand what I'm saying? Okay. So now, let's go on. And finally, in the last 3 blessings, the last 3 brachot, it is strengthened and integrated with the recipients through the gratitude that they express over it. And he explains, the general shefa gained by the first 3 brachot, along with the specific shefa received in the middle brachot, remain with the recipients through the last 3 brachot. Otherwise, it would have been a hashpah of only a temporary nature. The Gemara in brachot states that the last 3 brachot of Shemona Esrei are analogous to the deportment of a servant who has received an entitlement from his master and is now taking his leave. The Ramchal interprets this to mean that the servant shows gratitude to the master for what he has received. Gratitude is the explicit motif of the first of these last brachot, modim, which means thanks. This apparently corresponds to David HaMelech, for the Midrash states that David is the one who gives thanks to Hashem, as the verse in Psalm states, give thanks to Hashem for he is good. It thus emerges that the first 3 brachot correspond to the 3 avot, 3 forefathers, while the conclusion of the Shemona Esrei corresponds to David HaMelech, who completes the rectification of the avot, as Ramchal stated above. So this is the overall rectification, he says, as achieved by the entire prayer service. And that is to pave the way and bring down the Shefa to the world, as Ramchal stated. Now, again, saying what he said before, if we don't do this, if we don't request the Shefa, if we don't activate it, Hashem doesn't provide it. So that's really up to us. If we're going to daven, and this is for all the people who don't go to, who don't daven, then they're losing the opportunity to bring down the Shefa. That's all. That's all. But that's what they're doing. So the Ramchal explains how the Aidah differs on holy days. Now, during the weekday, it emerges according to this arrangement. But on the holy days, the sages did not burden the person to recite more than the 7 brachot. And he explains that the sequence of the middle brachot of Shemona Esrei needed to bring down the Shefa during the regular weekday. The Gemara in brachot states that one should really recite all of the brachot on the weekday Shemona Esrei, even on Shabbos. However, because of the honor of Shabbat, the sages did not burden us to do so. Ramchal now gives us a rationale, reciting only some brachot. Now, this is an interesting thing, right? We're saying they didn't want to be matriach us, which he's saying a burden. Think about it. How long does it take us to recite Shemona Esrei during the week? How long?
Takes me a while.
How long? 5 minutes. You want to go 10? I'll give you 15. I'll even give you 15, okay? What? Let's say 15. That's for arguing. By the way, most people 5, 10 minutes, 7 minutes. It's going to take that. You say it enough, say it every day, say it enough, boom, you're flying through. Okay? Becomes rote.
Which is a different kind of problem.
Okay, fine. It becomes rote. For those who are saying it really, every word and whatever they're doing. So, like I say, 15 minutes. Fine. In those days, in times of the Gemara that the Gemara is dealing with, it would take them an hour. An hour before, it says the Chasidim Rishonim would prepare for an hour, say feel for an hour, and have to descend from their lofty lights for an hour. That's 9 hours spent in tefillah. Shemona Esrei. Forget tefillah. Shemona Esrei. 9 hours that you're spending on your day. Now, Shabbos, I'm yelling at this thing. Shabbos is not good to do that. You have to eat, you have to do all these things. Besides, in a weekday, you have to work. But let's face it, Shabbos is a day to be with the family. If I'm going to be spending all my time at tefillah, which it's not such a bad thing, don't get me wrong, but it's a burden for everybody. Okay? So they cut it down to 7. So understand, that's really what's going on here. For us, you're going from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. I mean, it's not a big, again, 50, I'll give you 15 minutes. So you're going down to 10 minutes. It's not a big tircha. It's not a big trouble to us. It's a big deal.
Is that 3 times a day or just during the whole day? 3 times a day, 15 minutes? Or
I'm saying you'd have to see the Shemona Esrei, because the Shemona Esrei is 19 prayers. It all takes up about, 5 pages. If you would read it, say every word, it's going to take you, even in English, it's going to take you all of, if you say, blessed are you, Hashem, King, not like blessed are you. Nobody speaks like that. Nobody speaks like that. And why should you speak to God like that? Okay, so you're saying a sentence like, I'm reading this book. How long does it take to read 10 pages? Now, because I've stopped every other day, every second to make an explanation, maybe. But if I'm just reading the book, and I'm reading it every day, I know what's coming up. Okay? And in those days, and now I don't have a book. So I'm going by memory. And now I'm pushing it through. My mind has to stay on task, if you will. Otherwise, that's when you can really get killed. But I'm going to keep going through. And I'm saying it out loud. It's not going to take me that long. But they used to take the first generation used to take 9 hours. So now I cut it down a little. So you see some people take a little longer than that. Again, 15 minutes. I've never seen anybody really go longer than 15. Fine. That's not, but that, so now you take it to Shabbos and it cuts down more. Now, for most people, by the way, if they would come on time to shul, and they would start on time, so, and they would not be unfocused, I think they would cut down this one esrei from 15 to 7 minutes. I think it's a lot of unfocusing, and we have to refocus, and they get concerned about certain things, because if you hear them speak, they speak like this. So it's not, so why should I treat God any differently? Okay? And why should I fight with God, raising my fists and everything else that people like to do? You're having a conversation with God. But I'm not making, everybody has to figure out what they want from that. But nonetheless, it's not going to take that long. But here, if I go back to the Gemara, it makes sense that they would cut down the Shemona Esrei from 18 or 19 brachos, depending on which time period we are, to 7. Okay, so now let's continue in what he wants to get across. He says, this is so because the day, why is Shabbos, do we cut it down? He says, this is so because the day is intrinsically sanctified and blessed, and the day itself assists in drawing down the Shefa. So he says, the verse states that Hashem blessed the seventh day and sanctified it. Yom Tov carries a similar sanctity. The Ramchal explained above in section 8, that one does not wear tefillin on Shabbat or Yom Tov, since they themselves have the ability to draw the holiness from above. Similarly, the sanctity of Shabbat and Yom Tov helps to accomplish what the middle brachot of Shemona Esrei do during the week, namely to bring down the particular hashpa'ot as needed. Okay, you understand? So this is also interesting. So the Ramchal is taken from a different angle. He's saying, I don't need to say that middle stuff because the hashpa'ot that were being brought down were being brought down anyway because the day brings them down. So I don't need to bring down. God is assisting me, as it were. Fine. Consequently, it is sufficient for a person to make an effort on the whole. And he says it's sufficient to direct oneself to only the general categories of Shefa, not to all the specific ones. That is the purpose for the 7 brachot. For the first 3 correspond to the 3 general categories of hashpah, which we talked about before, namely from the avot, the forefathers. The final 3, as have we mentioned above, and that's to reinforce the shefa within the recipients. And the single middle bracha relating to the general sanctity of the day, that it should be strengthened, illuminate, and reign. He says, reciting the bracha regarding the sanctity of the day serves to intensify this. What? Serves to intensify the sanctity in the world. So the middle bracha assists and supplements all the particulars as well. It says, once the sanctity of the day is increased, the shefa coming from Hashem will be increased as well. The middle blessing thus serves the same purpose as all the middle brachot recited in a week. Rav Chaim Friedlander explained that all of one's physical needs are tools for spiritual growth. Thus, if one's spirituality is increased at its source through the sanctity of the Shabbat and Yom Tov, automatically the physical tools needed to utilize the spirituality are enhanced. And he says we will continue to discuss this further with the help of heaven. Okay. So the Ramchal now introduces another principle that will provide further insight into the framework of the 4 sections of the daily morning service. You also need to know that all of the realms are divided into 4. He explains, although there are countless realms that exist, from our physical world to the highest spiritual realm, they are all divided into 4 basic realms. This is based on the verse in Isaiah that says, all that is called by my name and that I created for my glory, I have formed and even made. The first phrase of the verse refers to the highest realm, which consists of the names of Hashem. The next 3 verbs, create, formed, and made, refer to the next 3 realms in descending order. Okay, so it says there is this world consisting of the 2 components, the celestial and the terrestrial, which are the heavenly components called the realm of the spheres, and the base component called the lower realm. So he explains that the physical world is divided between the celestial beings and terrestrial beings. The Ramchal stated that this includes this heavenly bodies, spheres, and the stars. Okay, and then he continues. Together, the two of them are referred to as one realm. Above this realm is the realm of the Malachim. And the Ramchal above divided the spiritual creatures other than Neshamot between Malachim and supernal Kochot. The Malachim are the carriers of the Shefa into this world. Thus the realm of the Malachim is directly above the physical world. And above that is the realm of the supernal forces, the roots of created beings that we have mentioned in the first part. So the Ramchal explained there that every physical object of this world evolves from a spiritual source. These sources are referred to as the supernal kochot, and they exist at the highest level within the created spiritual realm. Consequently, they form a realm higher than that of the Malachim. This third realm is called the realm of the throne. The realm is called the realm of the throne because the throne represents the glory of the king. And the highest realm, which is the source of all creation, was created to transmit Hashem's glory. And then he says, Ramchal writes that the spiritual forces are those closest to Hashem's Shekhinah and include the wheels of the throne. If anybody wants to look into this further, this is not one of the classes I recorded. You have to go to the Rambam. Maimonides in the Mor Nevuchim, the Guide to the Perplexed, where he talks about the different levels of the Malachim and the wheels and so on and so forth. It's very, if you're a philosopher, you'll get it. If you're not, don't waste your time. Okay, I tell you, I don't think it's an easy thing to go through, but that's where the Ramchal is getting this from. Above this, in ascending order, will be discerned from all of Hashem's hashpa'ot, and the emanations of light from which emanate all existing beings, upon which they are dependent, as we have mentioned in part 2, chapter 3. So he says, again, just to get this down, Hashem's hashpa'ot provide the shefa needed for the entire creation. These hashpa'ot were not created phenomena that stand apart from Hashem, but rather they are revelations of Hashem's design for the created world. Hashem hashpa'ot are Hashem's attributes. They are quote-unquote emanations of light that show us how to lead our lives. Each attribute is a source for phenomena that Hashem created. For example, we see Hashem's attribute of chesed, of kindness, in how He listens to our prayers. And we learn from this to be attentive to others. This attribute is the source for ears that He created for us. By the way, this is also a very important one. This is coming from a lot of works. He's saying this. And it's brought down to many others. But when we have our body parts, when we ask God to listen to us, Hashem says, I'll listen to you on condition that you listen to others. And listening doesn't just mean I hear. Notice you speak to me, and it enters my ear canal and I hear it. It's actually listening to the person to figure out what, can I help you? Can I do this? And sometimes it's just a matter of listening and not responding. And that was one of the greatest things that somebody said at the Federation. I don't know who said it. It was a lay person who said it, but they said they love the prayer when we say, we bless God for listening to us. It doesn't say for answering us. Shemei Tefillah means He heard our prayers, which just means He listened to us. Sometimes all we want is to be listened to. We're not looking for answers. We just want to be heard and validated. And that's why you hear the famous line in the yeshiva world, I hear. Doesn't mean I agree with you. It means I hear. I hear what you're saying. Next. Because I can't do anything about it. So what do you want? But I hear, I'm with you. I hear what you're feeling. Again, I don't agree with you. But I should listen to you. So, and that's opening
I understand that you're wrong, but I understand.
I understand how you feel.
Right.
I understand how you feel. You may be wrong.
Right.
You may be wrong. I may hold you wrong. By the way, when you listen and when you hear the other side, sometimes it does change the perspective of where you're looking. Okay? And I know I'm right for what I'm saying. But when I hear you, why you think that way, at least I'll understand you a little better. I may not agree with you. I probably won't agree with you. But at least I'll hear. And now we can start, the repair. The biggest thing that you're seeing today is nobody's listening to each other. They're all talking at each other, yelling. Talking would be nice. They're yelling at each other, and nobody's listening. Nobody wants to hear the other side. That's why, online, even though that people don't like when I share things online anymore, but online there are so many videos of people yelling at each other. This was pre-election. That is still going around the Facebook. Even the election's over, we're still dealing with the election. Okay, but I saw a video where one guy was yelling at another guy, saying how bad Trump was. The other person is responding, "Bring me facts." And there was no communication. They were yelling at each other. That's all it was. It was just no exchange of ideas, none. And that's what he's saying. I don't want that. I want you to listen. Again, you don't have to agree. I don't have to agree with you. You'll never change my mind on Torah Sinai, but I should at least try to understand why you want A, B, and C. In other words, you want to change my religion. Why? What's wrong with my religion? Really? It's that, and that's why I remember one guy at Yeshiva University. He was reading the Christian scriptures, and I looked at him and said, "What are you doing? So we have plenty of our own. Why do you have to be that?" He said, "You don't understand. I want to see what they're complaining about. It'll give me an insight as to what they saw. Maybe it's something that we have to take seriously. Maybe it's not." But he said, "That's why I'm reading it." Okay. Because I'm tired. I thought it was an interesting approach. He wasn't going to believe in Jesus. Wasn't any chance this guy was going off to Derech and suddenly go to church. Okay, it wasn't happening. But he wanted to know, what's your side? The same thing for people who read the Quran or for Buddha or anything else, where they do this comparative religion. And they're not looking to say, how's your religion like mine? Because that's ridiculous. That's stupidity. Okay, in my humble opinion, that's for all those who watch. In my humble opinion, it's stupidity. I don't care if yours like mine. What I want to know is why you feel that way. What's your perception of me? And what are you spewing? So when I see what you're spewing, then I can at least, not that I can agree with what you're doing. No, I can agree with swastikas around town, but at least I'll get an inkling as to what you feel. Now, and again, it has nothing to do with me, by the way. Racism, anti-Semitism, and all the isms out there have nothing to do with the people. It's people are crazy, and they're trying to hook a reason to spew their hatred. I didn't do anything wrong. The black guy didn't do anything wrong. The Spanish guy didn't do anything wrong. People just hate them because they hate them. This hate is irrational. I don't have to do anything wrong. I don't even have to live in your town. I don't have to live in your country. Proof being, England. Shakespeare, in the time of Shakespeare, there wasn't one Jew living in England. They were kicked out for hundreds of years. And he still wrote the thing about Shylock. 100 years later, 200 years later, he's still writing this prejudice about Jews. There wasn't one Jew left. So we don't have to be there. And again, none of these people have to be there for somebody to hate. Hate is irrational. And you won't convince the person who hates you that you're good. You'll never convince them. And you shouldn't waste your time. You just learn Torah, follow Torah, and let Hashem take care of protecting us. Because it's a total waste of time to try to convince them or to spend our money trying to educate them that a Holocaust actually happened. That is my political statement for the day. Okay. Total waste of money. But we like to spend money. Okay, on wasted projects. So, okay, now I'll stop. As a borrowed term, we will refer to the totality of all the hashpa'ot of one realm, and we will call it the realm of godliness. He says like this: okay. Hashem continually maintain and guide the world. The term realm is not really applicable here, as the Ramchal will explain. So he says, however, you will see that this term realm is relevant only as a borrowed item, as we have just mentioned, for the reason we will explain. This is unlike the former three realms, for which the realm is truly appropriate. This is so because the term realm connotes a gathering of many entities and varied beings in a place, divided into many subdivisions and relating to one another in differing relationships. He explains that the various groupings of the realm are not completely independent of one another. Otherwise, each independent group would comprise his own realm. Rather, they are interdependent and related in some way. Now, in all of the entities, whether physically perceived ones or spiritual ones, this aspect is truly possible. Consequently, this world can be referred to as a realm, since it's a gathering of lowly beings or heavenly ones into one place. So he says the physical world consists of two components, the terrestrial and celestial, as explained above. They both are made up of many entities that are interrelated. Therefore, this collection of physical objects merits the appellation of a realm. Perhaps the Ramchal says that it is a gathering of lowly beings or heavenly ones, rather than saying and, even though it is actually a combination of both, because either component can be defined as a realm in its own right. Hashem placed them together in one realm in order to enable them to interrelate with one another. Similarly, the realm of the Malachim is referred to as the realm, since it too is a gathering of many varied Malachim into one place, as much as this is applicable to them. When we refer to a place, it generally refers to a physical area, but Malachim are not bound by a physical space. Thus, the term place, referring to Malachim, is not to be understood in the same context as it is used when referring to the physical world. Here too we must add the Malachim are divided into various segments that are interrelated one to another. And again, if you go to the Gemara now in Chagiga, you'll see that there are 7 levels, 7 heavens, each one of them having a different purpose. But obviously it's not really a real place.
Are all angels male? It seems like it.
Are all angels male? There's no sex.
Well, they got male names.
They don't have male names. What they have, we consider male names because of Gabriel, and so on and so forth. Right. Malkiel, but it's the name describes what they do. Has nothing to do with sex. That's something that is very hard for us to break out of because of TV and everything else that we've seen. We're very prejudiced.
Well, TV says it's all women, you know.
No, actually, no. It's
womenly, like they're...
No, I'm saying the TV would say it's all men, Gabriel, and so on and so forth. And Greek gods, yeah.
Is Gabriel not the hero one? Or?
Gabriel is the strong one, he's the fighter, yeah. Raphael is the healer.
Right, so what is that in Hebrew? Where's the word connection?
Gibor.
Oh, okay.
Strong.
So Gibor El means
the strong one of God.
Okay.
God. Everybody had El at the end.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
Godly.
By the way, that's if you think of Superman, Jael, Kal-El. No, it's true. What I'm saying. It was Jewish. It was a Jewish author.
And they got underwear, like the underwear of Nimrod, and they got the cape, like the cape of Elijah.
What is that? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm just saying the names. Jar-El, all these things is L, and that was El means power. So, but it's what?
A couple of Jewish guys from Cleveland.
Okay, I don't know where they're from, right? But Schuster and whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're the ones who were making that whole thing. It's based upon a lot of things. But the names, when I saw the names, I was like, whoa, they really went crazy here. But that's, again, there's no sex to Malachim. There can't be. Yeah.
So is that adjective strong one, or adjective?
It's describing what the...
But is the adjective strong a male adjective or a male word? How do you say that?
It's not. It's a adjective. Adjectives don't have. You can make it sex. You can make it gender. You have to make it gender. Like gibor, giborah, giborim, giborot. What?
Another thing that made me think that there are males is that the fallen angels, like they had relations with women, so that makes you think they're male too because of that.
That's only if you accept the interpretation. You're talking about in Genesis, I'm guessing, right? So it's only if you accept the interpretation that it's a fallen angel versus princes, the rich people. So Rashi at that point says it's referring to rich people. The Targum even says it's referring to rich people, not fallen angels. There's a midrash that would say that, but then we get into a whole different thing going on. But the general sense, and if you look, by the way, one second, if you look between that, between Genesis and Job, the same words are used differently in the Targum. So you have to look at it, seeing what's going on, and it makes sense that in Genesis it would be referring to the strong ones, the ones who are rich, and so on, the people who wouldn't fight with, and so on and so forth. It makes more sense in the storyline to say that rather than these gods came down, these malachim impregnated women, and so on and so forth. That's a very Greek. It's Greek, what do you call it, mythology. Now, Greek mythology may be based upon that too. I don't know. I'm not sure if that. I'm not going to say it can't happen, but if you're going to make then you would have to make all malachim male, according to what you're saying. No females in the system. How do they propagate? And why would it? And by the way, just to explore this 1 second more, not really what we want to do tonight, but if an angel is, the whole point of an angel, a celestial being, is they have no Yetzer Hara. They don't have an evil inclination. So, and they have no need to propagate. So what are they doing looking at the women? Well, what's with the women? The only reason we look after women is that Baruch Hashem for Yetzer Hara. That's what the Yetzer Hara is for, to make us get married, to make us have children. Otherwise, we would just be serving God. Yeah, what's the question?
Just a comment for
comment.
In our sitters, in the Sephardic sitters, for the day listing for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday,
right.
For those, I think for the one Wednesday, it said, at the very end of it, I thought you were all righteous men, but you will die like Adam, and you will fall as the princes.
Okay.
So I guess the princes was
right. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I would say. Okay. Is that answering the question? Yeah. Okay. So we got to. Where we get to? Oh, yeah. Finally, the realm of the throne is referred to as a realm since it's a gathering of various spiritual forces in a place applicable to them. He says, the same considerations regarding a place from Malachim mentioned in the previous note applies to the description of a place for the still higher kochot. Yet the divine hashpod are not many entities and varied beings at all. He says, as noted above, the hashpod of Hashem are not created beings that stand apart from Him. They certainly cannot be called a group of existing beings or phenomena. Rather, they are distinguishable from one another, and these are the types of emanations of light originating with Hashem, whose sole purpose is that through them Hashem should avail Himself to His creatures and to provide them with shefa based upon their situations. This, therefore, should not really be referred to as a realm. So we're seeing that the Ramchal is trying to figure out how to label this, if you will. So he says, Hashpa'ot of Hashem are the attributes that Hashem makes available for us to understand Him and to have some relationship with Him. The different Hashpa'ot are based on the different types of shefa needed for the various created beings, but they are really indivisible from Hashem Himself, so they cannot be considered a collection of different objects that would justify the use of the term realm. So okay, that's why in this case, the final realm, the realm of the throne, is not really. He's saying it's not really the best way of saying it, but what can you do? You have no other way of calling it, because it's all part of Hashem as compared to the others that are separate entities, if you will, not of Hashem, because everything's part of Hashem. But in other words, one angel is not the other angel. What's an angel for, by the way? One job. He only has one job. Once the job is done, done. Yeah, but he only gets one job. That's why you have to have somebody malachim, because you only get one job.
One job at a time.
One job, period. That's all you get. They get one service, and then God Hashem says, "Okay, get back to the system."
Like one angel is like over Israel. One angel's over.
One angel makes you not you. Hagar. It says in this parsha, last parsha, excuse me, in Lech Lecha, it said, "Vayomer Melech, 4 times. The angel said, we don't know who's talking. God doesn't waste a word in the old Torah. When suddenly He's wasting these words. So what the rabbis explain is, no, each angel, each malach, they only have one job. So they gave the message, and then they're done. Now we need another one. God has plenty of things to... Yes, that's the first welfare job. Everybody just...
So what do they do the rest of the time?
Praise God.
Okay.
They don't do anything else. And remember, that's their purpose.
I'd be raising my hand from their job.
No, you wouldn't.
Why not?
Because
That's what they're creating.
that's what they created. Our job is to praise Hashem. So if I'm doing that, if I'm right there, I don't need to do something else. I'm just trying. It's only to get closer and closer and closer to Hashem. Here I am. Now, we, as humans, have an ability to go higher than everything. We can beat our programming, if you will. An angel can't. An angel's stuck by the program.
Of healing would be healing all the time.
Yeah, so right. So he can do
So
his job may never be end, right? And the guy who is protecting also may never end. But I'm saying the other angels, they get one job. That's it, one job.
Well,
Done.
that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Is a malach created to heal the cut my neighbor got yesterday, and only that cut?
No.
Or does he hang around if I need assistance at
So
work?
yeah, no, like Raphael. Raphael is the one who healed Abraham, who rescued Lot. So I mean, his job wasn't done.
Okay.
Yeah, so he can do this as long as it's when that getter, not getter. How do you say getter? That category of doing what you're doing. Yeah, but if you're here just to give a message, done. It's time to go back home. Okay, let's continue. I think I'm running out of time. Yeah.
And there's one to see that I don't become a bitty rich.
Oh, there you go. Oh, the other way. Okay. Nevertheless, since we can discern within the Hashpa'ot a division, an arrangement, and a great sequence in accordance with what is suitable for the recipients, and he says any actual differences between them are merely a function of the needs of the various created beings in the lower realms, but they are part of the essence of Hashem. Within which are rooted the divisions, arrangements, and levels of created beings, as we have mentioned in chapter 2. We will therefore refer to this general group as a realm as well, although there does not exist in this realm a multiplicity of phenomena. The fact that Hashem's Hashpa'ot relate to one another in a certain hierarchy justifies the use of the term realm. We will regard it as above all the other three, because according to their sequential gradations, that is how it is. says the criteria that we will use to relate to the other three is not based upon what is objectively, but rather upon this relative position in the hierarchy of the levels. So for the entire computation stands with this graded sequence. The physically perceived realm evolves through the malachim through what is above them, which is the realm of the throne and its levels of supernal forces, and finally the realm of the throne through the divine hashpa'ot and through the revelation of his light, which is the true source of everything. And we'll have to stop there.